Blog Talk Radio.
Good morning, WGS team. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to report all the latest and greatest gaming news from this year's E3 from Los Angeles this week. As ever, if you or any member of your team are found doing this, we will disavow all knowledge of your actions. Good luck and good gaming. This tape will self-destruct in 5 seconds. No, don't press the big red button!
GCW presents live 100% chance of pain. July 23rd, the American Legion Hall at 3319 Veteran Memorial Drive in Abbeville, Louisiana. For more ticket information, call 337-366-7480.
Hi kids, I'm the Iron Reverend Jake Slayer. For all the latest and greatest news and reviews in the world of video gaming, listen to GameUP, the greatest show on the internet. So tune in every week, for I will personally shove a joystick straight up your ass. And now, back to our show.
E3 is apparently officially started. Let the madness begin. WGS Radio back on the air with the first of our specials of the E3 conferences, and it's not even E3 yet. What the hell's going on? Ashley the Studley Man here, hosting for this special set of shows, and alongside me this show we've got the man himself, Double B, Billy Boudreaux, and Andy on the line. Konami have had their press conference just now. We're going to basically sum it up as much as we can in the next 20 minutes or so. Some interesting things came out of it, although there is some gripes as well. Konami, you kind of knew that quite a lot of people would be interested in your website, so why didn't you let your servers have enough power to actually let you see it live? I had to go through other sources to be able to watch it. I even, before we just came on the air, we actually watched it on YouTube, because the Konami site is still broken and doesn't work. Dear Lord. Well, it kind of reflects how people are interested in Konami, despite the fact that press conferences in the past few years have been slim to crap. But some interesting stuff came about. Now, we started with, I've forgotten his name from Konami, but basically thanking everybody for their support after the whole Japan earthquake thing. And then mentioning that this is surprising, it's the 30th anniversary of Frogger and the 25th anniversary of Castlevania. Dear Lord, those games seem Frogger seems a lot older than 30. I think that's been around since, like, Richard the Lionheart in the 1300s or whatever. But apparently there is a new Frogger coming to 3DS that not many people were probably excited about, but they also did confirm that there's going to be some DLC for Castlevania Lords of Shadow, some bonus DLC. Which, Billy, I know you were contemplating picking up the game. I don't know whether it's cheap or not at the minute, but, you know, with this DLC draw, would you be interested?
Well, yeah, in a way, I would be interested in it. I know there are a lot of Castlevania fans out there. A lot of people have been following the Castlevania franchise for quite a long time, ever since the old NES days, way back when, in the 80s. God, I feel old. Anyway, Lords of Shadows has intrigued a lot of people. I played a demo of it. It looks okay, but with the DLC, it all depends on what the DLC has to offer and how it improves the gameplay of Lords of Shadow.
Yeah. Next, we came to like our first mini feature in the 55-minute video that was up, which was Metal Gear Solid 3DS, or Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater 3DS, whatever the hell you want to call it. It's basically a Metal Gear Solid thing on the thing that tilts and everything and has a camera. And those features are pretty key to the game, apparently. Basically, you're going to be able to use the camera on the 3DS to do what they quote as photo camo. Photo camo. So basically, you take a picture of, a sunflower, and that sunflower will carry over to your character in their camouflage. Which, if you're in the jungle and you do a picture of like a pink floral bunch of flowers, you're not going to camouflage in much, to be honest. They showed that. It's like bowl of fuchsias, take a picture of it, bright pink in the middle of brown and green and everything in the jungle.
I hope nobody decides to photo camouflage their penis.
Somehow I think that could happen. You never know. Speaking of that, WWE fan is with us.
Sorry, you have to hear that.
Also, there's going to be a tilting aspect to it. When you're going across bridges or climbing up ledges, you have to keep your 3DS level. If you tilt it too much forward or back or left or right, you could fall out of trees, fall off ledges, or fall off the side of bridges.
It's basically applying the same kind of technology that the PS3 and the controllers implement on certain...
Yeah, with the old
games.
six-axis old controls, yeah, definitely. There was also an interesting little weird tease right at the end of the 3DS trailer that they showed after like the making of stuff. Yoshi the lizard, for no reason, just randomly appeared.
Yoshi appeared on there to poop eggs on Metal Gear Solid Snake.
Something like that, yeah. Right, this one will interest Andy. They also had a little interview with Seabass. That's his name. Well, he's got a Japanese name, but he's known by the name of Seabass for some reason. And he was talking Pro Evolution Soccer 2012. Now, 2011 saw a focus towards basically making sure the control was realistic. So when your player's playing with the ball in the soccer game or whatever, if you move it slightly, it's going to be realistic physics kind of thing, not just, moon-style physics. But because of that, they've realized that what suffered is basically all the players around you that you've got to pass to, the other 9, 10 members of your team. So they've also focused on improving off-the-ball play, trying to make, the realistic, through runs that you can get in soccer if you time your run right and everything. Also, they have worked on greater AI for the defense. So, just about as you ought to make that, goal-certain cross in 2011, in 2012, the AI of the defense is going to be, I don't think so, and it's going to be harder to score, apparently, which it's going to be a lot more challenging. What's your thoughts on that, Andy?
Yeah, because the older games have always been a bit predictable. Once you're in the goal area, I've always found that you can't pass the ball a great deal. It wants you to shoot. Once you're in that 6-yard box, it wants you to shoot. It doesn't want you to pass. And if you do pass, you can never seem to pass it to a player. You can't control another player in the 6-yard box. So it should be a good good concept. Did you say that you can actually move players who are not actually in control of the ball as well? Is there some way?
Well, no, the AI has been improved on, so the AI realizes if you're running down the wing and there's 2 defenders basically going after the guy on the wing, if you make the right, splitting pass, the attacker will basically run through into the gap, using the AI and actually do it himself, and then go on, and then you control him and score the goal, and everybody throws naked parties and everything, whatever. I don't know.
Can there be a good thing?
Also, they've also focused on the one-on-one thing. So basically, you've got the ball, you're coming up to the defender. They've basically focused on making the tricks that you can do easier to get past them. So you can, pretend you're passing it left and then you pass it right and, go round the player, or you can nutmeg him, or, do the fancy footwork that players like Cristiano Ronaldo.
Remember, boys and girls, if you play with your balls, be sure you clean your hands first.
Oh, that Axe commercial. Clean your balls. Yeah. That looks intriguing. I'm guessing that'll be out sometime September, October, possibly November.
Are they just going to be Did they say if it's just going to be Premiership teams, or is it going to be the full division teams?
The logo on the trailer said certainly the Spanish teams, but in the past couple of games, because they've had the UEFA license certainly in Europe, they've had the rights to the licenses for the all the teams, because they've got the FIFA Pro thing, which is like the best license you can get. The only other game that has that is the FIFA series, which it'll be interesting to see what FIFA brings to the table when we get to the EA conference on Monday. By the way, we'll be trying to cover that here as much as possible. Monday we've got Microsoft in the morning, EA and Ubisoft in the afternoon, and in the evening we've got Sony. So I could be knackered that night. Tuesday we've got Nintendo, and that'll be a huge hype towards the new Wii 2 or the Wii Poo or whatever the hell we're calling it. Who knows? Next one is one that intrigued both me and Billy when we saw it. It goes by the name of Neverdead. And the weird thing was the developer was like, in Neverdead, your character is immortal. No shit, the game's called Neverdead. Basically, the story is you played a person called Bryce, who was this demon hunter, with his wife and everything helping him. He challenges this demon, basically, and the demon goes, fuck this shit, I'm killing your wife. And basically curses Bryce to immortality. And basically, I think he's trying to get revenge by helping out this weird futuristic chick or something. Basically, what the thing is, you can actually have your limbs blown off. But apparently that's a tactic in the game to actually do stuff. Like, if you totally explode into pieces, you control the torso to clamber over to, like, your head and your arms and your legs. Now, on paper, this looks the most stupid game ever. But I want to see gameplay of it properly to see how the concept of this actually works. And if it does, it could be an interesting little thing, wouldn't you say, Billy?
Exactly. They're implementing a third-person style shooter into Neverdead and all the other tactics that come with using the body parts and whatnot. It seems very interesting. I know there are a lot of third-person shooters out there. A prime example of Gears of War. Gears of War is a phenomenon across the world, especially when they had the Gears of War 3 beta. And of course, we talked about that a few weeks ago on GameUp. So it has the potential of turning into a great game, even though on paper it's a silly story in a sense, but from gameplay, what the gameplay mechanics look like, and for what they've shown to us so far with it being a third-person style shooter and all the glorious graphics, voice acting sounds pretty solid with this game. So I'm pretty sure that Neverdead could be a good hit for Konami.
It's a grower. We need to see more of it to actually get an idea of how it's going to be.
And exactly, and I think that's one of the purposes we're going to see at E3. It was probably more gameplay footage of Neverdead.
Yeah. One game that I don't think WWE fan will be interested in is the Silent Hill series. The Scare the Pants Off You Silent Hill series. Now, the weird thing is, it was really more focused on the movie. They talked a lot about the movie. They have the director on. It's going to be called Silent Hill Revelation 3D. Oh, no. It's another 3D movie, dear Lord. But it's apparently taking the basic story from Silent Hill 3, which was a very good game in itself. Silent Hill 4, The Room, was a little bit kind of weird because it had it was its own separate story, which doesn't make any sense. It was a room that basically came to life and started falling apart and have monsters in it. And then you had other adventures in other worlds. Doesn't make any sense. So hopefully, it gets back on track with this movie. And apparently the movie now ties in with all the games that are coming out. If you're interested in the movie, they are going to be doing a special Silent Hill collection. Now, they did it before on PS2 when they brought back 2, 3, and 4 The Room in a package together. But they're actually going to be doing 2 and 3 again for the PS3, but they're going to be jazzing up the graphics in HD and everything, so, you get scared even more by Pyramid Heads. Yeah, Pyramid Heads in HD. HD KKK. Who knew? Whatever. We also saw a trailer for Silent Hill Downpour, which looks like it's going back to the whole idea of we're in Silent Hill, you're going to piss your pants by being scared, pretty much. Some very weird cutscenes in that. But I think the biggest news was the one which they like stuck in, like as a side mention. It's like, oh, by the way, we're also bringing out Silent Hill Book of Memories, which is going to be an exclusive to the NGP. So, the PlayStation Portable 2, or as we believe it's going to be called, the PlayStation Vita, we'll talk more about that on Saturday, is got a Silent Hill game of its own, and obviously we haven't seen anything from it, but I wouldn't be surprised if they probably stuck something in the Sony press conference on Monday.
Ladies and gentlemen, WGS Advisory, do not play this game in the dark.
Yeah. It doesn't help if you play it in the dark. Yeah.
Nick Bondage did not heed our warning about Dead Space, and he played it in the dark, and now he's glad he wears dark breeches everywhere he goes.
Oh, and by the way, there's not enough money in the world for me to watch a movie in 3D. Scary.
Just wait till it comes out on DVD. when it's in 2D, it'll be the same thing. You'll still jump out the chair like, monster! I did it. Parts of the trailer. It was like, whoa, flash. The finale bit was the typical Hideo Kojima, and apparently he isn't turning up at E3. But there were some signs basically that he is, but you're not supposed to know about that. But we know about it. I'm confusing you. Shall we get on to it?
Yeah.
Basically, the big feature is transfarring.
Yes.
Yeah, it's transferring, but it's F-A-R-R-I-N-G. Now, you may be confused as to what it is. We were when we actually saw what it was. It was very odd. But basically, what it is, you're going to be able to take your PSP game and transfer it to play on your PS3 when you're at home. And if you want to play it on the go, you can transfer it back to your PSP. Or you can do it vice versa. If you've got the game at home and you want to play for it an hour while you go on the bus or on the train or anything, you can take it on your PSP and play it then transfer it back once you're back home from partying and the nights away and whatever. WWE fan, I'm looking at you. And basically, continue it back on at home. It's an interesting little concept, and it's been confirmed for Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. So basically, that tells you, yes, Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker is coming to the PS3 as well.
It's a unique concept with transferring because, growing up as a gamer myself, I've always found it extremely difficult. I'm playing a game, but then I have to go somewhere, and then when I'm leaving, the only thing I think about is, how do I get this next part of the game, and I can't wait till I play it. I think with Hideo Kojima coming up with this transfarring thing here for the PS3 to the PSP, and then eventually he wants to do PS2.
Yeah, like Stage 2 is PS2 to PS3 and NGP, or Vita, or PSP2, and then eventually it's just going to be take out the PS2, and you'll have a game that launches on the PS3, which from day one, you'll be able to transfer straight over to your NGP and play it on there, as soon as it comes out.
I think
a concept that is intriguing.
I think we should, with the time we got left, Ash, I think we should also make mention of the two collections that were featured after.
Oh, absolutely. This is the thing I'm really looking forward to. Zone of the Enders, classic set of games. They've confirmed that in 2012 we're going to see Zone of the Enders 1 and Zone of the Enders the Second Runner coming out in an HD edition. Also, Metal Gear Solid is going to be having an HD pimp up or whatever with HD graphics. We're going to see Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty, 3 Snake Eater, and the Peace Walker spin-off, all coming in a special package coming this November. And the bonus as well is not only are they going to be on PS3, but they're also going to be on the 360 as well. Because that is the push that Kojima is apparently trying to make. He's trying to make everything go multi-platform, because already we know that Metal Gear Solid Rising is going to be multi-platform. There wasn't very much mentioned about that, which makes me think that's where the E3 appearance could be, despite the fact he said he wasn't going to be there. And then he introduced the Fox engine, which by the looks of it is the new engine for the new games that are going to be coming out. Whether this is for current generation consoles or for next generation, who knows? But the graphics on there basically looked more realistic than anything I've ever seen before.
I will say this: Kojima really outdone himself with this Fox engine. Guys, if you guys want to see what we're talking about, you have to watch the pre-E3 show they had and see it for yourself. It is a fantastic.
He's pushing all that though for all multi-platform, so possibly he's gearing towards perhaps the Wii 2 or whatever it's going to be called. We'll find out the proper name on Tuesday. But during that time, when he went through the gameplay engine, he had his hand hovering over the PS3 control. Then he suddenly jumped towards the Xbox control. And I think that might be the hidden message, basically saying, look out on the E3 conference for Kojima to suddenly appear and go, oh, by the way, do you want to see a trailer for Metal Gear Solid Rising? I've got one. I wasn't supposed to tell you about it, but shh. And then, you know, Satoru Iwata or whatever, not Satoru Iwata, he's Nintendo, but the chief guy from Konami said, you know, thanks for watching this show. Hope to see you at the press conf. You know, hope to see you on the floor at E3. Unlikely. You know, I don't have an official press license. Goddamn.
And it's not open to the public.
Yeah, it's not open to the public either, so it's a bit screwy. And basically, right at the end, the biggest, it's brilliant. The biggest deal of possibly the entire 55-minute video was a tiny 10-second clip.
Oh.
Left right at the very end. It's just, this screen basically comes up towards the main screen or whatever. And all of a sudden this flame starts rushing around and it's like, okay, somebody's let the fireworks loose again. Rev. Just, not really. But, very intriguing. And then all of a sudden, a huge sea appears. In the style of a certain other popular NES game that starts with C. And ends in Entra. Because all it says is the big C, and then all of a sudden it says below, they're back, or they're coming. So are we finally going to see a Contra game back on a major console? Because so far all the previous versions have been on DS's and stuff, portable consoles. We haven't had a Contra on a major console, numbered kind of thing, since I think Super C for the NES.
Exactly.
Or the Super NES. Just ages ago. James has joined us. James, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm surprised that we have a show at this time.
It's a special.
It's a special. We're basically rounding up everything that we've seen at the E3 Konami. Well, the pre-E3 Konami.
Yeah, I was reading the email and then I just realized, oh, Konami was doing a press conference, and now I was reading up on it.
Yeah, well, I think, yeah. Basically, to sum up the highlights, 3DS Snakey looks pretty good, although the camera and the tilting effects, it'll be interesting to see how that is fully implemented when it comes out at the end of this year. Evo Soccer, last year when we had the battle of the soccer games between FIFA and Pro Evo, FIFA won for the first time in ages, because normally FIFA is way behind, but it'll be interesting, you know, basically we're on level playing ground now, and it'll be interesting to see who gets the edge on that. Neverdead is possibly a grower. We need to see more of it to get a full idea of what it is, but the concept is certainly different. Silent Hill, the one for the new NGP, could be good. The new game, the trailers look like the old style ones. Silent Hill Collection 2 and 3 are going to be HD'd and everything and coming out later this year. You've also got the Revelation 3D, the movie, which is based off the third Silent Hill game, apparently. Because it's got that 20-year-old girl with the short hair with the orange jacket. So basically it's the same. And then Kojima with his Transfarring, and basically telling you that there's going to be a Zone of the Enders HD collection and a Metal Gear Solid HD collection coming out in November 2011 for MGS and in 2012 for Zone of the Enders for both the PS3 and 360. The 360 thing I think is the big coup there. They're also going to have trophies and achievements. Forgot to mention that. They're really pushing that. You've got Metal Gear Solid Rising, which is supposed to be coming out 2012. No mention of that, though, which I think is a bit stupid, which makes me think you're going to be seeing him on Monday at the Microsoft conference or something like that. And then the new engine, which was amazing, really fascinating, huge graphics and everything. And then the old Contra tease right at the end. To sum it up, just wow. In 2 words, fucking wow. Yeah, we had to drop an F-bomb or else it wouldn't be game up or whatever. So, come on. Anything else that you're looking forward to in the E3 coverage, James? In the next few days that we'll hopefully be covering on...
I'm just gonna wait for the Nintendo press conference.
The Nintendo one on Tuesday. WWE fan, anything you're interested in?
Probably the Nintendo as well.
That's all about the Nintendo. Andy? Andy, you're going to be interested in what Sony's going to do after everything that's happened.
Yeah, I'm going to be interested to see if they're just going to scrap the PS3 and just bring out the PS4.
When Kevin Butler just comes on and says, "We fucked up, didn't we?" Yeah, just Billy.
Yeah,
anything you're looking forward to?
A couple of things I'm going to be looking forward to. One is more gameplay footage of Neverdead, because like I said before, it on paper it looks stupid, but from just in the gameplay, it seems very intriguing. Another thing I'm interested in looking forward to is WWE 12 and see what kind of improvements they're going to be making on the series since they're dropping SmackDown vs. Raw. I'm hoping possibly see maybe new features on here. I know a lot of people want to see a championship scramble online. That's one feature that everybody's looking forward to, and possibly maybe fixing up the servers for online Royal Rumble play as well for WWE 12.
Yeah. And will the Rumbles have 40 people?
Yeah.
But given from the footage that I've seen of it already, we can confirm Alberto Del Rio is in the game. But you already knew that. But, yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
We'll talk more about that hopefully on Saturday in our GameUP. Well, it's GameUp, but I guess it's going to have to be like an E3 preview kind of show. Which,
yeah.
We'll do loads of stuff. We'll basically go through the news as well, like Sony screwing up and everything and whatever. Then we've got the press conferences on Monday. We'll be doing as much coverage as we can. Keep an eye on YouTube and Facebook and everything to see when we're actually doing a show, because it could be last minute. But, you know, normally if there's a press conference, keep an eye out for something soon after or a couple of hours after or whatever, like it was tonight. Tuesday as well, we've got Nintendo, and then that'll be it, and then I'll be able to have a relax. So with that, we'll speak to you next time, I guess Saturday, hopefully, for the preview, or if you're just listening for the press conferences, we'll speak to you on Monday for either either Sony or Microsoft or EA or Ubisoft. Yes, it's that bloody crowded. With that being said, thanks to James, thanks to WWE Fan, thanks to Andy, thanks to Billy, thanks to me for actually showing up or something, I don't know, but we'll speak to you later in the week. Very well, people.
Good morning, WGS team. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to report all the latest and greatest gaming news from this year's E3 from Los Angeles this week. member of your team are found doing this, we will disavow all knowledge of your actions. Good luck and good gaming. This tape will self-destruct in 5 seconds. No, don't press the big red button!
Trivia fact, he actually pressed the blue button.